The thing that constantly surprises me is that every individual is so unique and their story is their story and no one else's, and it's always interesting to learn about that. I've always loved to make things. And from an early age, from my earliest memories, I have loved to make things. And just the process of growing up and making little tiny decisions led me to the making of the human figure with clay. Not just any human figure, but to make a piece of clay look like a specific person was an incredible challenge. And so that was really interesting to me. And I've spent the last 2 decades trying to get better at that, and I will spend the rest of my life chasing a specific likeness in clay. It's just an incredibly interesting thing for me to do. If there is a story, then I'm trying to learn that story and make the clay respect that story in little tiny ways. The fold of the eyebrow and the kind of purse in the lips that this type of person would have. I'm having this conversation with this piece of clay and truly trying to bring out a personality in this clay. And I really feel like the sculpture is only done when it feels like the clay could talk back to me.
He also has stacks and stacks of books, reference material. So if there has been a book written or a historical account of someone that he sculpted, he has read it. We've visited homes, historical sites, museums. It really is unique with each client and subject.
So take, for example, the William Webb statue in Glen Cove, New York. It sits on the grounds of this beautiful historic mansion. Right behind it is Long Island Sound. And when we installed that statue, it became really clear to everyone involved that all of the work we had put in to crafting this very specific statue for this very specific place so that it looked like it had been there from the moment the mansion had been completed was really work that was worth it.
It was incredibly moving to see all of these people that have been so involved in this tribute to the founder of their institute, to see Mr. Webb finally in his place, overlooking the university that he worked so hard to build.
It very quickly became our shared goal to build this studio, to create the highest quality bronze monuments and put them out into the world. We get to do this together all day long, and we meet incredible people and learn incredible stories, and it's just like the joy of our lives to be able to do this in this world with these people. I approach portraits differently depending on who the subject was. So take, for example, a really well-known figure like Marcus Aurelius, who, centuries there have been examples of a portrait of him that exist in the world. And so when I'm doing that portrait, I'm trying to take in all of this information, but at the same time make my own choices based on my feelings about him. Doing a private portrait for a university or a family, I rely much more on their memory of the person to inform the choices that I make with the statue. But with both of them, the process is very similar in that when I'm working on the statue, I'm making thousands of little tiny choices every single day. And so sometimes at the end of the day, I'm actually surprised at where the portrait is because I'm looking at all the trees and I am not focusing on the forest until I take a step back. It really is those little choices and those tiny decisions about how the mouth moves to push this specific expression that I'm going for that make the difference between a portrait that feels like it has a life and a portrait that just looks like some guy's face in bronze.
Sometimes we're creating for a large landscape or a park. Sometimes we're talking about a stadium or a bus that will be in someone's home or office. In any setting, the environment has a huge influence on the way we create the project.
We love input. We do truly feel like the best statue will be made if we bring our skills and craftsmanship to the table with our clients' hopes and dreams, and that if we can put those two things together, that makes the best statue. So I am not afraid of critical analysis. In fact, we really welcome it. We love to have clients come to our studio in Kansas City. We love it when clients can see the statues in person and get the experience of looking directly at the clay. But it doesn't have to be that way. And a lot of our clients are on the coasts or in different cities. And so technology really makes it easier for us to share the statue with them without them having to hop on a plane. You know, we're talking about legacies that are going to be around for hundreds of years, and a statue that, you know, will outlive my grandchildren. And so that is our primary goal, is creating a statue that hundreds of years from now, people will say, that is a quality example of the work that was happening in that time.